This looks so good on my screen. It's actually shocking. Also, since people ask how I set shit up, it starts a conversation. Yeah, you would be good for a YouTube channel on how to, like, set up cool stream stuff. I think you'd run one of those YouTube channels really well, like a Harris Heller type. Like, what to use, what to do, stuff. First person looks tough to drive with. It's actually kind of easier, oddly enough. Just doesn't look as cool. Like for the viewer, I have a couple videos that I'm working on it. Yeah, that makes sense. I need to find a way to make some kind of opinionated content consistently. Whether it be a podcast or a weekly show or like a something like that. I need to put energy into making that happen. And just do the sim racing on stream on the side. I have an idea. What's your idea? Full of Ludwig? I don't like making YouTube videos that much, to be honest. I've tried to do the just chatting thing before, but I just get bored. Just chatting thing only works for me when I have a lot of viewers. Your ass already showcased your opinion. Wait, what? Oh, I get it. Grab the audio, get the audio, edit it, podcast. Oh, yeah. That's definitely, I mean, that's 100% what would happen. Like, if I do a podcast, like a TV show or a show or a podcast on Twitch, it's also going to get released as an actual podcast. And on YouTube on a podcast channel. 100%. That's easy. It's just tough because typically you want to tackle a niche. And I'm not very niche, to be honest. I'm very broad in my takes. I'm willing to talk about anything. It doesn't have to be one single topic. That's tough to break in like that. So it's just like general stuff. Like a good example I give is Andrew Schultz. He started a podcast called Flagrant 2, which is a podcast that was about basketball. But in reality, the podcast wasn't about basketball. It was just a way to make a podcast more popular by kind of attacking a niche, talking about basketball for like 15 minutes and then winning over the viewer for the last hour and 45. So they would talk for the first like year and a half of the show. They would talk about basketball for the first half an hour. And then they would go straight back to comedy, making people laugh, doing jokes, talking about current events like a regular podcast. But they framed it like it was a basketball podcast. Eventually, the podcast got so fucking big, it became the #1 podcast on Patreon, and they just completely stopped talking basketball. They literally never, I don't remember the last time they mentioned basketball. It's not a basketball podcast anymore. Because they grew so big that they transitioned to, it's like they used that category, they used that niche to help propel them into the space that they wanted to get into. And then when they got to that space, they capitalized on it. That's what I should have done with Skater XL. I should have never took the month off. I should have never did GTA. I should have done like a podcast or a show about skateboarding. And then talked about skateboarding for 20 minutes in the beginning of it. And then an hour and a half talk about something else. and then slowly transition out of it as I get more popular. Yeah, the name of the podcast is Flagrant 2. They used to have Kaz, who was like a basketball guy, like he really gives a fuck about basketball. But then they dumped him, and we're like, all right, we're a comedy podcast now. And it's a good podcast. Got a podcast called Bodhi Has an Opinion. I don't know about that. I had a notepad. I think Not About You. I think I had a podcast name called Not About You Podcast or Not About Me Podcast, something like that. Where the whole the premise is that the podcast isn't about me, it's not about you, it's about everything happening in the world and how me and you relate to it. Because I do believe the name of a podcast is very important. Now it's just Oshkosh laughing at Andrew, just slapping his thigh the whole day, just getting up and walking in circles every time Andrew says anything even remotely funny. It's insane. They say shit around you and your takes on shit. Yeah. The problem, I don't want to do like a Twitch style podcast though. Like I want to do a regular podcast sitting in front of Mike at a desk with somebody. Like that would be way more fun. This just feels so not real, you know? Like without interaction, Twitch feels so dead to me. You know? It feels lifeless. So it's like a tough balance, right?